So what I'm going to say here, okay, for this topic, today we focus on requirements determination. From last time until now, until last week, actually, mostly we talk about the project management stuff in terms of information system, introduction, and so on, right? And there are a lot about the system, the information system project, the information system development, and the project management concerns and details. Okay, so we talk about the phases of project doing, starting from initiating, planning, what else? Execution and close down. These are the project phases, right? But when you are, once you finish from planning, remember in terms of the planning, we have been talking about scheduling, economic feasibility, risk assessment, and many more. So once you are done with all these things, you should move to the phase of working on the project, right? It's not that you keep just doing all this management stuff. No, you really need to move yourself into the project execution. So within the project execution phase, okay, okay, a moment. Within the project execution phase, okay, here is the overall process that I already recapped. Okay, now let's assume that we are within this. We move on already from initiation. Remember, we talk to stakeholders, we do some initial stuff. We work on the planning, okay, do quite a number of things. Now we should reach this execution phase. And within the execution phase, if your project is, of course, information system project, that means, remember, we go back to topic 2, which is about software process, information system life cycle and process. In terms of those process, it involves key activities, including all these main activities. Okay, I want you to really have big picture of everything. The key activities of software and information system process include identifying the requirement through the set of activities, which is called software specification. Okay, we need to define the specification. Then after you got some idea what are to be done, you define, you move to the development. Then we do the validation, making sure that what we develop is the right one that users need. And of course, it could move to, we could later on move to what is called the evolution. That is, once you develop, you verify it's the right thing, right one, your software may need to be evolving. It is not just that you stop there. It is that you make changes further. Users may want something more and more and more and so on. Okay. So remember in the software process model, we even talk about whether we do everything sequentially, whether we do everything iteratively in a iteration manner, evolution manner, and so on. That is the model, the cycle. Whether you are doing a little bit of this and that, and then once refining and making more and more complete, that is fine. But still, the key activities are these things. So I'm not saying that you need to do a very waterfall model. No, you can do even in an iterative manner. Why it doesn't work? Okay, do a circular manner cycle, and so on. Okay, fine. But still, even you do waterfall, even you do agile, even you do iteration and so on, still you need to work on these activities. Okay, but it's just that you start one, finish, and come back or not, something like that. Okay, all right. So what we will focus in this set of slides and also the next in the topic number 6 is on requirement, because it's the key. Everything, information system, software, any kind of project, and always I usually tell you about building a house, right? Things start from requirement. You finish your project, complete your project in a very successful manner if and only if you fulfill the customer requirements. So you need to know what do they want. That is the most important thing. Okay, so we will talk about requirement determination, and suppose we also consider our AT clinic. And if I want you the same, similar to the breakdown structure practice, but before you do any breakdown structure, you need to understand some picture of the requirement of the thing users want, right? So suppose I am your user, okay, one of the user. I may be the one initiate this idea that I want to hire you. Oh, sorry, we all, the whole team, we are the same team. We are hired, okay, every big group, ICT students, everybody thinks that we are expert in this thing, so they want to hire us. We are hired to develop AT clinic management system. That's it. That is what you are in for. I just inform you now. We are all hired to develop AIT clinic management system. How can we determine the requirements? I just told you this. So what do you think we should do now? Next? What's next? I just called for you, right? Okay, let's join up as a team. Or maybe this is part of your semester project. Okay, the whole class. We are going to do this as a project for this course. So what's next that you will move further? Okay. We are already planning everything, sorry. Go to my question. Okay. What's next step in terms of determining, understanding the requirements? You're saying something?
We're studying a clinic, right? So a requirement would be, a compulsory requirement would be having a doctor. And then whatever the medication, the pharmaceutical are.
Yes, but what are you going to do? Study a doctor degree or what?
Medical doctor. You need a doctor to.
Yes, but what are you going to do?
Just have one.
Talk to him or hire him or what? What do you mean? Hire a doctor. Hire a doctor. We are going to develop an information system. You need a doctor to be a developer or to do what? Sorry. No, fine. But then we need to brainstorm, right? I want to get you, and then I'm trying to say it, and then you realize that, oh, yeah, maybe not, and someone. What's next? Okay, you identify some keywords now. I heard of the term stakeholders. You said discuss with the stakeholder. Okay, that means first you need to know who are the stakeholders. We're talking about requirements, right? Okay. Yes. But then who are the stakeholders?
End user groups.
Okay, I heard some keywords again, sorry. I need to make it not so messy. Okay, I heard the term end user, but really in a bracket, who are end users? Any idea from this side? What to do next? No idea yet? Okay. How about you? Any idea who are the stakeholders? Who are the end users? Pardon? Patients? Yes. Who are the patients? Okay, student and staff of AIT. Yes. Okay, good. If you just say patient, right, I will ask you further. Oh, wow. Who are the patients, right? Anybody walking in the street or what, right? Be very specific, because when you say discuss, I would expect you to make an appointment with the person, right? You propose this. Then we need to pin down who are really this person. Otherwise, I drag someone from the street, right? Okay, you said AIT student plus staff. Okay, good enough. Then we can really find them. Who else? Are we having only one group? Sponsor? Okay. Yes. But then can you go a little bit more specific too? The same here, right? End user is too broad. Patients are also too broad. Sponsor for me also too broad. Who are they actually? What do you think? The government of Thailand? Oh, they have money. Maybe they are sponsor. Who? Maybe this side. You can give me some idea. Pardon? Insurance company? Hmm? The King sponsorship? Mm-hmm. AIT what? Committee. Okay. So the word sponsor means those who support the project. Whether it's in terms of, remember when we make a discussion, right? Based on your article reading, we have identified what does it mean by sponsor. It's not only those who have money to pay, but those who support the project to make it successful and want the project to be complete and successful, definitely. So yes, it is not only those who will find money, but there would be those who want this project to be starting, implementing, completing, and then using real use, right? So I would say, yes, we need to find out, but definitely must be, sorry, I think, okay, later I try. I cannot be too close to this side, maybe close to the speaker. AIT, maybe I would say AIT management, right? This for sure bring benefit to AIT. They must be the one who support this project fully. Okay, now we have only two groups identified. I think we have the end user in terms of student and staff. We have the sponsor in terms of AT management. We are still about this, right? Be sure every time we come back to our focus, I'm talking about requirement determination of AIT clinic management system. Okay. Any other additional type of stakeholders? Okay, because maybe you are confused with the word stakeholder. Yes, project team. You mean developer team? Okay, developer team, they are stakeholders by sure. But are they the one who give you requirements? Board of director? I would say they're more or less on the management side, but maybe not the other group, right? But still, yes, this could be. Thank you. You're saying something. Jiwan? No? Or maybe you or who? Okay. So doctor or nurse who work at AIT clinic. Okay, not any doctor or nurse too, right? Not from the Thammasat University Hospital, but must be doctor or nurses from AIT clinic working currently. Okay. Yes. Yes, I think we reach or identify important groups of stakeholders. Yes, that's true. This is one way. How to determine this is one answer. Because you identify that we discuss with these people, and discuss mean, what does it mean discuss? You ask them to come sit together, buy them coffee. What do we do? Yes. We ask them about the work. Yes, the work, the procedure, the things they do, right? Basically, we need to be able to know that what does the function of this AT clinic management system do? When we discuss, not ask about, hello, how are you? I hope you have a good day. Have you got COVID before? Oh, it's been a very hard time. No, it's not this kind of discussion for sure, right? Be to the point, what kind of discussion you will talk to them, right? Bring the questions, list down or prepare the questions, not anything. So the question you will need to understand definitely must be about requirements. And when we use the word requirements, I mean system requirements, information system requirements, that is AT clinic management system requirements. And requirements mean what do they want the system to do? So if there are AIT student and staff, the end user, what do they want? Do you think AIT staff and student and also doctors and nurses, do they want the same thing? No. They have different functionality requirements, right? Students may want, what do you want as a student for AT clinic? Make an appointment. What else do you want? Suggestion about? Feedback on. Okay, but if I ask you, what are the requirements of this system that you as a student want in terms of functionality? She said one function, making an appointment. What other function you as a student, as a user would want? Billing? You want to pay online or what? Be specific. What does it mean by billing? Like paying after. Okay. Okay. You would like to have a choice of paying either online or by cash. Okay. What else as a student you may want the system to do for you? List of available facilities. Okay, such as? Okay, yes. You are real users, right? Yes, if someone asks you, okay, I'm developing a system for AT clinic. What do you want the system to serve you? Suggestion? Consultation from the doctor. Is it the same as making appointments? Or you mean something different? Such as you want a consultation online or what? Okay, now I'm suggesting you, right? Not you suggesting me, but okay. So you need to think, right? If someone asks you as a user, what do you want? And the same, you need to ask the users, okay? What if doctors and nurses, what do they want? Now you said, oh, I'm not a doctor, but you need to imagine. Now, what do you think they would want? What kind of system they want? Medical record of patients from online, right? Yeah, otherwise now, have you been to the clinic? Anyone who have real experience going to AT clinic? None of you? Oh, you're very healthy. Never. Have you? Oh, 9 years ago. Okay, but I think it's still the same. Yeah, that's valid. Okay. But anyway, if you go to the AT clinic, they still record everything on paper, for example, right? And maybe because the system, I mean, the number of patients are still very small, maybe they think that it doesn't give so much different in terms of typing into a computer or something, but that's different for sure, right? Whether you want to retrieve your health, medical health records from online or not, or every time you need to come and ask for your record, or as a doctor, every time he diagnoses and find out something, he will write, yes, oh, okay, you come with some cold symptom, coughing, this and that, oh, you have a back pain, or you have office syndrome, or he will say, right? And then he will write down what kind of medicine he suggests you and treatment he suggests you. So that's everything about your profile, medical profile. So as a doctor, maybe he wants everything on computer or something like that. Okay, so we need to talk to them. Anyway, so now I will summarize actually discussion, talking. We should not use the word discussion. The very proper word is interview. You need to do an interview, a proper interview. Okay, with the key users about the system, about the requirements. So these are in my summary here, sources of requirements. First, you get from interview, but you need to be very careful. How many you can really interview? But interview is a very good way because you can ask questions. Something when you feel unclear, you ask more questions too. When they explain you something, you don't understand, you ask more and ask more and ask more, right? You can even get more into the understanding. Okay, but then how many? Can I just ask one AT student, one AT staff, one doctor, one nurse? What do you think? Do you think we will get enough or not? So how about 100? So we do 100 interview with 100 students. One is not enough. I go another extreme. How about 100? Good or not? Too much? You said too many, right? So you need to identify what is the number. But the thing is that not about the number. The thing is that you need to make sure you get enough. Not enough. Enough means you get the requirement. Somebody may have one dimension only, right? I ask you, you only want, or for me, online appointment is fine. That's it. I only want this. If I ask others, maybe they have something else. So the thing for when I say enough means you have enough, you have really obtained and determined or understood. You can understand the requirements from users and you know what are these valid requirements. The same for doctors and nurses. Okay, so we need an interview. But how many? That's another thing. Another is also observations. It's not that sometimes you need to really talk to people, right? Do you know how, if you have to implement a system for AT grocery store? You have been to grocery, right? Maybe AT clinic you have never been. How about grocery? Yes. Yes. Have you, any one of you never been to the grocery? Okay, 1, 2. Others, have you been to the grocery? Okay. So even you don't need an interview, you can observe, right, how things are going on there. And if you need to implement a system to digitize everything, I mean, in terms of the sales transaction, okay, purchasing and selling, and maybe reporting, okay, don't think of only the very operational level, right? I am the grocery shop owner. I want to know which products are the most selling item for each period of the year. I don't want to just have system that do the beep, beep, beep and calculate the price, right? Oh, that's basic stuff. But I want more because I want my business to grow and make more profits. Not only by making the convenient system, making system that suggests me that, oh, this season, AT students love to eat this thing. I need to buy more of this stuff in the stock. I need to do this and that. So I need a reporting system and suggestion system. So if you interview me, I give you all these details, right? But if you interview users, oh, they may want delivery. Not only coming to the shop, right? They will say, hey, I want to order things from my room and then have the delivery service given, right? And so on. So talk to the right people, but also make certain observations. These are the first things you can do. Second, maybe consider existing documents because these are the things they need. The same as AAT clinic. Doctor need to write down the diagnosis, write down the medical treatment, write down the suggestion and so on. These are the things you can look from the existing documents that, oh, if you need to design database system to store all these things, what are the items you need to store? What are details about patients that your system needs to record? Okay. What information of student and staff they record? Do they record date of birth? Do they record the name? The emergency telephone number? In case something happened, whom to contact? These are the things you don't need to ask all the time, right? Not necessary that you get only from interview. You get from documents. And if they use some existing system, but you are now making a better version, or maybe you are replacing their obsolete legacy system, you still need to look into their current system, right? How does the current system work? Whether the current system has some, oh, can do this, cannot do that, generate this, and so on, okay? So Traditional methods I already mentioned. In terms of interview, you can make interview to individuals. With individuals, you can make an interview with a groups of people so that they can complement each other. You can make observation of the work process and studying existing system, existing document, and so on. So in summary, these are the key things, okay? As I already mentioned, to do an interview is not just ask them to come for a time. Be prepared. It has to be a prepared session. Plan the interview. Prepare the interviewee, tell them, make them an appointment, give them some preliminary questions. So they are prepared. If they know, they might bring some documents so that this can be useful during the interview. They might be able to show you existing system, demonstrate something of other hospital that they have been working with, and they might say that, oh, I have used this system. Maybe we want something similar. They just show this to you. So you must tell them what types of things you want to discuss. Prepare agenda, checklist, and so on and so on. Okay, I think this is just guidelines. Okay, you may need to prepare some types of real documents. And make sure a very important thing for the interview. Everyone has limited time. Time is a very scarce resource also for you. Plan the time well. Usually people spend the very first few questions so long because you want to elaborate things. And then at the very end, you have little time and you need to really squeeze everything and rush. And that is not good because sometimes the very most important points are at the end, right? And that is bad. Then you get the key things at the end you may not be able to get from the interview result. So even plan the time for each types of question and manage. You may need to give an introduction, background of the project, not like just get to the very main point, right? You need to, okay, we are here today. We are doing, we are hired to do this project from AIT, and we want to know your feedback and input in terms of the new system we are developing, something like that. You need to really explain. Because let's say you are interviewing people, students and staff for AT clinic. You just approach a person and then right away talk to the staff. People may not understand, right? You really need to give some background, so on. Okay, anyway. And you might interview the group. These are some advantages and disadvantages. Compare them. The group, more effective use of the time. Sometimes people can say they agree or they don't agree, okay, on certain things that other people may have said. It may be very good to get a consensus in terms of some disagreement on certain things and get some supporting on additional things as well, okay. Disadvantages in terms of scheduling, okay, to find the common schedule for everyone. Observing means you just watch and don't interfere. Okay, you just observe, watch, and the pros is that you got to understand things. You don't need to request for an appointment with anyone, but of course you need to inform, okay? If you're about to observe how the clinic works, can you just go there and stand and observe? No, you inform and make an appointment, right? That I'll be here for maybe just 25 minutes observing, okay? And it could be time consuming and you may not be able to observe everything. Suppose what happened in terms of emergency case. You may need a system that can support a recording of emergency case, a case of this, a case of that, but maybe in the observation, there is no such situation happening, right? So you may lack opportunity to understand how emergency is done and what types of data to record and so on. Then in that case, you only need an interview with experienced users, okay? Studying business documents, okay? Reviewing existing one, some system and so on. Okay. Another important thing is that sometimes some organizations, they have some kind of proper procedures, not some, usually very formal and systematic organization, they do have appropriate procedure, standard, protocol, standard procedure recorded, okay? So you can study and understand how things work from this document, the standard procedure document, okay? And when you analyze the document, existing system, and so on, these are the things you should try to identify. That is, when they do have existing system, what are current problems? Why do we need to develop a new one? And if you develop a new one, you for sure need to make it better, right? Not repeat the same problem. So for sure, you need to know what are current problems, and we are not going to make the same problem. And also, usually current systems means they have been developed based on the old requirements. Those requirements may not be up to date anymore. So we really need to identify new requirements, not just to repeat the same thing as existing one can do, right? Identify new needs, new requirements. Maybe understand from the direction of the organization as well. Identify key people from understanding the current system, current ways of work. Okay, these will be the thing you can discover or identify. Organization, values, okay, these are data also, okay, data to be processed. And how can we process them? Understand the work procedure and so on. These are some examples. Okay. Okay, these are some cons, limitations. When we analyze existing work procedures or maybe business documents, be in mind that there could be certain limitations, especially, of course, things you study from the document could be lengthy and require a lot of effort. And when you talk to people and make an interview, keep in mind that you're not going to do just one way of determining requirement, right? You may need to combine several techniques, both interview and observation, then study existing document, also study existing system and many more, right? So you may need to combine several techniques. So sometimes you will find something that confirms Because people also say this, when you observe, you also notice the same thing. Okay. So it can include some duplication of effort because you find out the same thing. But anyway, it can be a confirmation. And sometimes if we talk about documents, there for sure, not everyone can record everything. Even for ISO certified organization, that we need to record everything properly in terms of documentation. Still, there might be some not up to date, something missing, something newly introduced but not yet made as document. Something out of date means not up to date, right? And something that contradicts, because as I said, they already changed the way they work, but they have not changed the document yet. So the document may be out of date and contradict with something you find in the interview. But again, every time try to confirm. If Mr. A says something, document says something else, you need to confirm which one is correct, right? You cannot just believe Mr. A, or you cannot just simply believe the document. And even it could be that Mr. A and Miss B say something different, right? Okay. Another thing is when you check existing system, you can, okay. Formal system means we do everything according to the proper systematic way. Informal system, that is, of course, we make use of interview and observation in order to understand the requirements. And when we talk about business form, okay, analyze not only the standard procedure, but form, fill form. Usually user need to fill a form. When you go to a hospital for the first time, they will ask you, are you our existing patient? If not, the very first thing, filling a form, right? Because they want to know about you. So this form gives you some initial idea of what data to be maintained in the database, for sure. These are the things they want to know about a patient. And then you need to design a database system to store all this data, minimum. But of course, there might be that the form is 10 years ago and they don't update. Maybe they have some idea that I want this too, but the form has been designed long time and we still not add this item into it. Okay. Usually, if we are thinking about a form, I believe everyone has been to a medical center, a hospital, right? If you have to fill in a form of a hospital, medical center, what do they ask you? Common? Yes, basic demographic. Yes, that means name, address, date of birth, maybe even citizen ID or some kind of ID, right? And so on. What else? Apart from demographic, what else do they ask you? Insurance. Ah, very good. We need insurance information. But this is optional, right? Because somebody may have or may not have. Anything else? Past medical history. Okay. And yes, especially you cannot list everything, right? But they may make a checklist. Have you ever got this and that? Have you ever this? Have you ever that? Have you had allergy, drug allergy, medical, so on, right? Mostly you will need to check if you have something. So it's about yourself, about your past record, about the way you may pay the bills to the hospital, right? The pardon? Okay, the purpose, but the purpose could be for each visit, or it's not it's for the initial record. Because the purpose of the current visit could be for this, but then for future visits, maybe something different, right? Okay. So this is for patient, new patient registration form. Okay. I think mostly these are all, but then each visit you may need to know more. For each visit, after you are not a new patient anymore, right? Definitely they will screen you. What is the purpose you come today? You feel unwell or you want to do what? And so on. And then they will send you to the right section and so, right? Okay. These are examples of the form. You may not need to ask from people, right? Just look at the form and then you understand the thing. And then you can confirm whether there are additional items the hospital or clinic may want or not. Okay. Don't forget to ask for additional data item. Okay, in case the forms are not up to date. Because the past medical record could be added more. Sometimes we have more of the things to check and so on. Okay. So this is example of the business form. And this is another. This is just, I think, an invoice, purchase, making purchase and sales and so on. And not only the form, report. You should analyze the report because then you know what types of data analysis, data analytics, and so on they want the users. But again, as I said, existing reports may be out of date. They may have only what they could have, but they want more. So these types of existing reports give you some understanding of what they have been doing, but you can always ask for additional ones or what they have in mind or what they want more or not. Okay. Such as they may want to analyze, number of patients by month, by gender, by age, by types of illness, and many more, right? By types of staff, types of user, whether mostly students come or staff come, mostly foreign, overseas students also come more, or Thai students come more, and so on. This is important. Okay, what types of illness? They mostly come to the clinic so that they can manage the medical inventory, medicine properly, and so on. They can even manage doctor, right? Because doctor have certain specialists. We need to allocate doctor for according to the need. If mostly, I think, what do we have? We have general medicine, general med doctor at AIT. What else do we have? ENT, the nose, the eyes, and so on. We may have physical therapy types of doctor. Maybe people have a lot of sports and so on. So these are analyzed based on the data. So this can give you some idea. Okay, but again, as I said, ask for more always. And there are many other ways to determine requirements. One good way that I would like to suggest is by prototyping too, especially for certain kinds of system that users also have some unclear requirements. They also don't know what to explain, don't know well what they want. Okay, so making a prototype, showing them some screen, some mock-up design, some data that you will record, some analysis results that you can make, and so on. This can give them some ideas, and then they will be able to give more input to you. Okay. Okay, so this is a summary that we usually make use of system prototype as a way to get requirements, not always, because sometimes if the requirements are so clear, you don't need, because it takes some time for you to develop and design a prototype to communicate with the users, right? But when the user requirements and requests are not clear, when very few users have been involved in the system, okay, and some complexity exists and so on, and we want some concrete interface to show to the user. And maybe it has been the case in the past that these types of user, maybe they don't understand much about the system requirements steps and so on. So they may we may have the history of communication problems with this group of users in the past. So using prototype would be a way to solve such a problem of communication. Because sometimes developers and end users, even we speak the same human language, we still speak different language. They don't understand you and you don't understand them. Even you both speak English or the same language. But maybe you sometimes have some mindset towards the very system-oriented users. They are very naive users. They might not understand some technical terms even. Okay, try to use very few technical terms to the user. Okay, and also don't just make your system analysis or requirement analysis in the way that change existing manual process to digital process. Always try to improve business process through technology. Because if you say that, okay, I go and observe how things work, right? And then what you observe and you see that is existing manual system, manual way. And oh, we are just converting the manual way, replace something on paper by computerized system. That may be not good enough. Sometimes you can do what is called business process re-engineering, because by introducing the new system, you are introducing the new way of working, not just to replace the same way of working by just computerized system. That is not for today. Okay, that is the same as in the past when we fill in a lot of form. Doesn't mean that you just change from filling a form to filling a computer form. Changing from paper form to computer form, no, that's not good enough. We need to really think of really new engineering, re-engineering process as well. So as even you are in the process of determining requirements, you can still suggest and propose better ways. Since you may have experience from many other systems, okay, always propose better ideas. So it means you can reorganize some process. You can eliminate some unnecessary steps, okay, or combine certain steps together. And yes, become more responsive to future changes. Oops, something is here. Okay. That is the way we said that it is the re-engineering, because we want to make an improvement to the process for better service and better products. Okay. I should emphasize a little bit more on agile method. That is, with agile, it is more on the continual user involvement in every activity, if possible. In most of the activity, of course, not in terms of the coding. We are not inviting the user to do the pair programming and coding with us. But of course, we involve them during the understanding of the requirement to test certain modules. After we finish some coding, then they need to verify with us that this is the thing they want and confirm, right? If not, they will be able to give their feedback, the change of the requirement. If they think of something new, okay, then they can always be part of the process. And it is very important that we need to make sure that user goals, role, and task, by using usage design center, we focus on the needs of the user most of the time. Involve them in the design of the UI, involve them in the acceptance of a module, get their feedback, and that is actually very similar to making not really a prototype way. It could be a real system, not just a prototype, but they can see things in the continuous manner. Not like we launched the project today and they wait for 10 months to see something, right? But it could be that we start the project now. In a month time, they meet with us, see something, talk to us, give us some feedback. And another month time. This is the iterative. Remember, we talked about the time boxing concept. So they will have a very regular iterative cycle with the team to work with the team and so on. Okay. So this is where user can always involve in the analysis. We talk to them about what they need. Okay, we will talk through user story. In the design, of course, they may confirm the initial design with us. Even the database design, they can be, right? They don't need to write SQL code for us, but they confirm that these are the table structure that kind of consists of the things they want. Okay, UI design, they can confirm. Database design, they can be with us, and so on. Coding, maybe not very much, but the testing, they can involve for sure, right? You want them to be the one who accept and maybe give you some idea of whether they want something else or not. Okay, we will need to launch the project. Okay, but before I go to talk about the project, this is to summarize that when we talk about agile methods and requirements analysis, usually agile always argue for a lot of documentation for sure. So minimum documentation to keep the work up to date. That is what is needed by agile. Okay, just for communication between the team and the user and among the developer team ourselves. Because if you have nothing, it's just by verbal, it will not work. Somehow you may need to record something and have something evident, right? Seeing something together, draw something together, and so on. Still, even agile, and we say that very minimum document, you still need some documents even within the team, communication among the team, communication with the user, and so on. Okay, but not a very lengthy document that require a lot of time to produce. Okay,